Good morning, friends. Today we are going to learn module number 3, Comedy of Errors by William Shakespeare. In the previous lecture, we learned about how there are the mistakes and coincidences due to the mistaken identities and the two twins from Ephesus and Syracuse. In this part, we are going to learn who are the characters in the play. These characters are important to learn because due to those characters there is a comedy and creation of humor and the theme of mistaken identity come out. When we learn about it, we come to understand how it is a play created by William Shakespeare for the humor and due to the for the humor due to the mistaken identity. Now we are going to learn the next part of it, the characters in the comedy of errors. First of all, since appearance alone is what counts in these plays in Shakespeare as in Plautus. As Plautus, from Plautus it is adopted, the play of Plautus. Shakespeare written down the same play and named it as the Comedy of Errors. Plotter's individual identification or personality is usually eradicated at least until the final scenes. Characters are governed by single traits so that they appear quite one dimensional. Plotinus and Shakespeare's farce thus draws upon the Greek notion of character, according to which superhuman forces stamp and direct human behavior singularly and predictability. For the Elizabethans, two social and family relationships often dictated behavior rather than individual choice or talent. Luciana advised to her sister Andrea concerning marriage and two Antipholus of Syracuse, echoing almost verbatim convention at sermons of the time, is a reliable index to the Elizabethan culture for which Shakespeare was writing. But this was also a culture at the beginning of transition, and many current social historians of the period now argue that with a shifting economy from the fixed duties in feudalism to the more fluid once in a nascent capitalism, many men and especially women were beginning to become aware of what might set them apart in a shifting and competitive world. Antipholus of Syracuse is warmly received in a strange city. Antipholus of Ephesus is locked out of his own home by his wife, who refuses to acknowledge that he is her husband. Dromio of Ciracus describes the kitchen wench to his master in a way that depersonalizes and deconstructs her, making her nothing more than a global map full of stereotypical prejudices of the day. As we know it, how there is a stereotypical prejudices of a woman about her husband. Her explicit sketches that characterize the play, just as Gounod's initial sense of estrangement is in due course shared by more and more characters. The characters of the Comedy of Errors become not subjects but objects, integers moved by events and by the playwright, like so many chess pieces on a comic chessboard. Then, such depersonalized characters become comic commodities whose purpose in a metatheatrical expansion of the market setting is their commercial value as figures of fun. So, here is a creation of figures of fun throughout the play. Iguone is a merchant from Syracuse in the court of Solinus, Duke of Ephesus. Antipholus of Syracuse is a traveler who is in search of his mother and his brother, along with his servant Dromio of Syracuse. Antipholus of Ephesus is the citizen of Ephesus with his servant Dromio of Ephesus. Andrina is the wife of Antipholus of Ephesus, and Luciana is her sister. Luciana is the third female character, who is also called Nell, is a kitchen maid, already betrothed to Dromio of Ephesus. Lady Abbessy is the fourth female character, being also known as Emilia, head of a priory in Ephesus, and finally identified as the mother of Antipholus. Corson is the hostess of Antipholus of Ephesus at dinner. Among minor characters are the first merchant and citizen of Ephesus, second merchant Angelo as goldsmith, Balthazar as Ephesus merchant, and Dr. Rinch as schoolmaster, then as an officer and jailer, also known as an Ephesian law officer. Apart from this, there are messenger, attendants, herdsmen, and officers. Now, the first character, Antipholus of Syracuse. Born to Iguone and Emilia in Epidamium, Antipholus is raised by his father in Syracuse after being separated from his mother and brother in shipwrecks. At the age of 18, he leaves home to seek out his twin brother and mother, accompanied by his servant Dromio. When he arrives in Ephesus, he is surprised to find everyone already seems to know him. He suspects witchcraft is involved and makes plans to leave the city as soon as possible. After many mishaps and moments of mistakes and moments of mistaken identity, he is finally reunited with his family. Antipholus of Ephesus. This is second Antipholus. The names are the same of both the brothers in Ephesus and Syracuse. After a shipwreck separated him from his father and brother, Antipholus of Ephesus was taken from his mother by Corinthian fishermen. As a boy, he was brought to Ephesus, where he grew up married and became a wealthy merchant. Antipholus of Ephesus is much less light-hearted than than his twin brother and much quicker to resort to physical violence. He is feared by his servants and mistrusted by his wife Andrina. After spending a day with many mishaps and moments of mistaken identity, leading his fellow Ephesian to think he is crazy, Antipholus meets his long lost family members. Next character, Dromio of Ciracos. Dromio of Syracuse is one of the pair of twins sold as servants shortly after they were born. As a young adult, he is the manservant of Antipholus of Syracuse, whom he accompanied to Ephesus as a quest to find his long lost brother. Like his twin Dromio of Syracuse, is full of quips and puns, even seemingly and inappropriate times. Dromio of Ephesus. Remember that how both the twins are named the same, Antipholus of Syracuse, Antipholus of Ephesus, and their servants Dromio of Syracuse and Dromio of Ephesus. Dromio of Ephesus is the servant of Antipholus of Ephesus and his wife Andrina. She tries to follow orders but suffers much abuse at the hand of his employers like his twin brother. Dromio of Ephesus is a jokester, even though his master is hot-tempered and has little time for humor. Dromio frequently uses jokes and wordplay to make light of his predicament. This behavior increases once he begins receiving conflicting commands from the two Antipholus brothers. Iguone. Iguone is the first major character to appear in this play. This tale of sorrow in Act 1, Scene 1 provides the most of the backstory necessary for understanding the plot. Although he has suffered much and expects to be executed shortly, Iguone remains dignified and asks only for a speedy death. After the first scene, Iguone is off stage for almost the entirety of the play. His sons and servants are unaware he is in Ephesus at all, let alone on death row. Iguone meets his sons entirely by coincidence as he is on his way to be executed. Next character, Andrina. Andrina is the leading female character, a long-suffering Ephesian lady who chaps at society's rules for married women. She suspects her husband, Antipholus of, of Ephesus, is having an affair with the court's son, but Antipholus denies this when Andrina meets her brother-in-law, Antipholus of Syracuse. She mistakes him for his twin brother. She leads his strange behavior as yet another side of her falling marriage. Next character, Emilia. Iguone mentions his wife at the very beginning of the play, but he has no idea what has happened to her and never tells the audience her name. Emilia herself appears only in the final scene of the play when she reveals herself as Iguene's long lost wife and mother to the Antipholus twins. She is somewhat domineering and wastes no time in dispensing sharply worded marriage advice to Andrea. So, those are the characters in the play. And next lecture, we learn about the critical analysis of the comedy of errors and Angur. Thank you.